18! Let's go! Welcome to ThatsGoodBroncos!
It's your boy Chiefy from Rio Rancho, New Mexico.
And the Broncos just won the AFC West Championship!
That's good, Broncos!
That's good, Broncos!
That's good, Broncos!
This is That's Good Broncos. I am Brandon Perna, and to celebrate this magnificent win, the #1 seed, and all of the good stuff, I want to begin in honor of Bad Poetry, which is coming up by Philip Rivers, with an excerpt by celebrated poet Stephen Becker, whose masterpiece, indirectly written for Philip Rivers, is titled Lightning in My Panties. I quote, "My two crushes were standing next to each other, talking about me as I approached them. One was a boy and the other a girl, so yes, I liked them both. Yet they weren't aware. When they hugged me at the same time, it was like boom, lightning in my panties." As weird and disturbing as it may be to read poetry written by a creepy adult man, Stephen Becker, about the blossoming sexual feelings of a girl going through puberty, which is something I guarantee that guy should not be writing about and posting on the internet, we are indebted to that man for giving us the greatest catchphrase of our generation. Boom! Lightning in my panties, which will be uttered from now on for all of time every time Philip Rivers throws an interception, gets sacked, or fucks up. That's good, Broncos. The Broncos did defeat the San Diego Chargers 27-20, and I want to personally thank the Miami Dolphins for doing the Broncos a real solid by beating the Patriots on Sunday. You deserve a great offseason, Miami, and if I were you, I'd start by hiring head coach Mike Shanahan. The Dolphin win set the stage for the Broncos to jump ahead of the Patriots in the AFC for the #1 seed, securing home field advantage throughout the playoffs. The Denver Broncos looked like they were going to destroy the Chargers when Brock Osweiler connected with Demaryius Thomas on a 72-yard touchdown pass that was 90% yak and 100% big dick play, capped by a chest bump with Miles. After the touchdown, the camera caught Brock Osweiler and Emmanuel Sanders discussing Matt Paradis's eating habits.
Did you smell that in the huddle?
Smell what?
Flat out the worst fart I've ever smelled, and we're outside.
Paradis eats Arby's for breakfast.
Oh, that's why it's rough under center.
It's disgusting. I saw him eat 5 beef and cheddars by his locker.
In typical fashion, the Chargers' offensive starters were showcased at the beginning of the game with the graphic. John Phillips looks like he keeps victims' body parts in his freezer. And Danny Woodhead looks like he ghostwrites poetry titled Lightning in My Panties. The ragtag Chargers settled for a field goal on their first drive with a 50-yarder by Lambo. On the next series, the Broncos were driving, and I was gearing up for a second half where I could watch the game like Buddha in a state of zen, which is the opposite of what Jaleel Adai felt when he was stuffed, trucked, and triple fucked by CJ Anderson. The domination continued when Emmanuel Sanders raced down the sideline for a 47-yard gain that ended with a turnover, where Steve Williams essentially just took the ball right out of Sanders' hands. At this point, I noticed Peyton Manning on the sideline, getting inside of Brock Osweiler's head.
No, Peyton, I want to keep playing in the football game. All you gotta do is tell Kubiak you have a tummy ache. You've got all next season to be QB1. You little shit. I'm just the greatest QB that's ever lived.
The Broncos moved the ball with relative ease, but every fucking series ended in a turnover. The next one came when this ball bounced off of Jordan Norwood's hands and into Steve Williams' mitts. Then Brock Osweiler was blindsided by guess who? Steve Williams on a fucking blitz, who was involved in all 3 of Denver's first turnovers. The 4th turnover in the half was another interception. This one was caused by Michael Schofield getting destroyed on the line by a Melvin Ingram spin move who hit Osweiler's arm during the throw, forcing the interception. Somehow, this defense only allowed 3 points off of the first 4 turnovers. That is fucking unbelievable. This game was like the NFL catch rule. It didn't make any goddamn sense. And maybe that's why Peyton Manning was wearing a tiny little hat on his ass. Brock was clearly starting to lose his mind on the sideline. Quarterbacks coach Greg Knapp asked him how his New Year's Eve was, and Brock just lost it. It's fucking bullshit. The Chargers kicked a 42-yard field goal towards the end of the first half, and Denver would go into halftime with a 7-6 lead. My man, CJ Bash Anderson, in the spirit of this crazy turnover game, fumbled the ball after making quite a nice run, giving San Diego great field position. With the gates closing on his career, Antonio plucked one last ball from the air with his giant hands for a Charger touchdown to give them a 13-7 lead. One gate closes and another opens. Peyton Manning was then given his job back. The crowd went nuts. Some people thought Manning was going in to replace Schofield. But, for some reason, unbeknown to anyone on earth, the Broncos stopped turning over the ball when Manning returned to the field. Oh, and Tyler Columbus took over at right tackle. Ronnie Hillman took the first carry for 7 yards. Then, Manning, knowing the power of Virgil Green, gets him involved for a Denver first down. The drive then turned into the C.J. Anderson show. C.J. popped between Max Garcia and Matt Paradis for a 27-yard chunk of gain. Manning doing his Manning thing at the line of scrimmage, audibles into a run. That's right, into a run, and Bash Manderson scores a Denver Broncos touchdown. The Broncos' red zone woes are over. Wait. Upon further review, his knee was down before he crossed the goal line. Run it again. C.J. Anderson crushes it back into the end zone for a real Denver touchdown. He cannot be denied. Wait, what? Upon further review, he did not score. Finally, on the third rushing attempt, C.J. Anderson scores a touchdown, right? There's no more reviews here. He really scored. Yes, C.J. Anderson. Brock Osweiler's reaction to the scoring drive, which was primarily led by great runs, was not very enthusiastic. Commodus Osweiler? Peyton and the offense were driving again, but they stalled after Emmanuel Sanders wanted to score one for Papa John so bad that he left the line of scrimmage about 30 seconds too soon. Brandon McManus turned to his early season form and popped a 48-yarder right down the gooch, extending Denver's lead 17-13. Phillip Rivers found a wide, and I mean wide open, Tyrell Williams, who came free after Aqib Talib played the wrong route, and Williams scored an 80-yard touchdown, which, if you take that one play away, the Denver defense held Phillip Rivers to 148 yards passing. That's pretty good. Ronnie Hillman took a long look at the number on his jersey, saw that it was still 23, and then gashed the Chargers defense for a 23-yard gain. Brandon McManus punched a 35-yarder down the gooch to tie the game back up at 20. Darian Stewart left the game early after re-aggravating his hamstring injury. My personal friend Neil Diamond, who I watched the game with, reassured me that despite Stewart's absence, Shiloh Ko would step up. Mr. Diamond said to me, "Shiloh, when I was young. Shiloh, you put lightning in my panties." Ko, with the interception, put the Broncos in prime scoring position. Ronnie Hillman gave the Broncos a 27-20 lead with a 23-yard touchdown scamper that was opened up by guess who? Tyler Columbus. The unsung, well-hung hero, Tyler Columbus. And yes, Tyler Columbus is going to get the Big Dick Player Award for coming in and playing well in a position that has struggled severely pretty much all year long. He should start from here on out. Ronnie Hillman and Demaryius Thomas also get the Big Dick Player Award for being two of the offensive skill players who didn't have major gaffes during the day. Broncos win 27-20, clinched the #1 seed in the AFC, have a bye, and will play at home. The other Big Dick Player Award goes to Bradley Roby, who defended every pass that came his way. It didn't matter who Roby was covering. He was playing perfect pass coverage, defending ball after ball after ball that Rivers kept trying to shove down his throat. Not only was he excellent in coverage, but his tackling game returned to pro form with this devastating hit on Danny Woodhead to end a Chargers drive late in the game. Nice job, Roby. In addition to clinching the number 1 seed, we also learned that Phil Simms is racist.
Watch the right guard. Gets off the block. Couldn't tell if it was Vasquez or Garcia.
Why can't you tell them apart? Because they're both Mexican?
Couldn't tell if it was Vasquez or Garcia.
You simple-minded announcers. Manti Te'o had one good play during the game.
Well read by my Manti Te'o.
If only Te'o could have read that well into his text and Facebook messages in college. That's the last catfish joke about Te'o ever, I swear. And back, by popular demand, I bring you Bad Poetry by Philip. Lightning in my panties, rivers. Where a river runs, there is no agua here. Instead, just hot air.
That was a haiku.
Bad Poetry by Philip.
Lightning in my panties.
Rivers. The earth, a mile high, began to shake. Beasts succumbing, a sack was forced to take. The sky rained with falling wisps of yellow. A coward cries, rivers dried, spiked with anger, loss of mellow. In a game of inches, these bolts thundered and clattered. A wood-headed hero floating behind the blundered. His efforts for none, splattered, splintered, frozen in the heart of winter. More bad poetry by Philip.
Lightning in my panties.
Weavers. The paradox of a river's is its running hydration. The shores erode with offensive masturbation. Howling wolves giving birth to the female sons. Dead seeds are spewed from bolts attempted fertilization. Number 1 seeds earned by horses running for fun. Bad poetry concluded by Philip.
Lightning in my panties.
Rivers. We were all excited, thrilled, overjoyed to see Peyton Manning return to the gridiron, but no one is more excited than Manning's pouch boy, who once again has a purpose. Digging around for gold, huh, buddy? Had the Broncos run away with this game, they would not have been forced to switch to Peyton Manning. In his last game with the Broncos, he threw 4 interceptions, and the team finished the game with 5 turnovers. On this mysterious day in which the football gods toyed with souls all across the football fandom universe, the Broncos turned the ball over 5 times before Manning was placed back on the field. Is that a coincidence? No, that's a reverse of a curse. And it's got a super destiny. Thanks for watching the entire regular season of That's Good Broncos 2015 Spectacular. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at Brandon Perna, and give my friend Ian Burns a follow on Twitter. He's at Plate of Socks. He helped me with this episode by sending me some jokes. This team is unpredictable, but our defense is great. If we continue to run the ball like we did against the Chargers, they've got a legitimate chance to go all the way.